How's it going, guys? This is me, myself at home here, and today we, just as the title suggests, I'm going to show you how to use Unrpa or Unrpa, if you want to mash those together. And what this is basically is a way to unpack the Ren'Py files from visual novels or VNs that you download through Steam or as standalones or that you buy or whatever. And this is how I've made the thumbnail for Autumn's Journey that I played on my channel. You can see it right there on the screen. All of those are separate things that I unpacked from the actual game files, and we're going to go through some of the really important things that are not explained well on these, as you see on the screen right here, these instructions or instructions that you would find on a forum if you had questions about it. Alright, so the important thing is that the visual novel needs to be made with Ren'Py. So you will know that it was made by Ren'Py if you go to your folder where all your Steam games are. So it would be Steam, Steam Apps, Common, and in this case, Who is Mike? And you will get to a folder like this. So you see here, there's .exe, .py at the end of all of my files. If you're not really computer savvy or made ringtones for your iPhone or through iTunes, you will not have that because it's a setting you need to turn on. So anything you see on the screen that you don't have, don't panic. That's all optional and doesn't affect at all how this is done. So anything on here that you see that you don't have, unless it's, like me typing in code, that's kind of important. Anything where it says dot whatever, not important, extra stuff. Alright, so if you do not have Ren'Py installed, you will not have this icon right here. It will just look like this one. Here it'll just be a blank page file, but you will know it is made by Ren'Py because there will be a convenient Ren'Py file in a folder here, and you open it up, and then bam, since I have Ren'Py installed, it auto loads the extension. So that's how you know the visual novel is made in Ren'Py. Alright, so a couple things you're going to need. Unrpa, first of all, the actual program. You can get it through here on the creator's main website, or you can get it through GitHub. So both of those will be in the description. I got mine from the actual website because sometimes when I get stuff from GitHub, it ends up not working, and I just download it from another place and it works, even though I do the same thing. So I generally stay away from GitHub because I'm not like that technically inclined, even though it's supposed to be like easy. And it even gives you a link here from the GitHub to this actual page. So you'll need that. When you download it, it will open up a folder depending on where you have yours. Mine just goes in the downloads folder. It will have it'll be the latest version, which is Unrpa 1.4.1. And it will say Unrpa 1.4.1. I've renamed mine to just Unrpa for convenience of the text code that we're going to be doing a short bit, and I would suggest you do the same because that'll make it so much more easy. So now that we have this, if you open it up, there's not going to be any extensions on these, and that's normal, don't panic. If you want to actually look into the files, if you hover it over, it's just a file. There's no extensions attached to it. If you want to actually open it, you double click, mouse please, and then this window will either show up, or you can right click on it and go open, or open with. Since I have other things open, it's not going to give me the option because I've already opened this before and it knows what to do. So you'll get to a screen like this, and what you basically want to do is just pick Notepad. Bam. And then a whole bunch of this kind of stuff opens up. Right now I have word wrap on for the Notepad itself, so I don't have a scroll bar at the bottom, and that's how you generally open these. Like if I open the README, and then I open the notepad, boom, boom, it'll say Unrpa is a script for extracting files from archives created by Ren'Py Visual Novel Engine, and then it gives you like a rundown of commands you can do and stuff, right? So you'll need, the second thing you will need is to remember the paths of all of these items, all right? So we are going to go to our desktop, and you can either keep the Windows Explorer window open, or you can make like a new text document and you can just click in here and copy and paste. It doesn't really matter, but you need these paths for later because they are important. All right, so we'll minimize that. We'll bring back here. So the second thing you're going to need is a way to actually read these files. Since the files themselves don't have any extensions, you can't actually run them. You need a program that they were coded in to actually run them, and that is where Python comes in. The creator of this, I think on his about page says he graduated with high honors from university in Python, and he specialized and he works at IBM and stuff. So this guy knows what he's doing. So you go to Python here. It's literally just python.org. You click the downloads. Here's the second important part. Make sure that you do not download Python 3, the Python 3 version. Just don't do it. Don't do it, doesn't work. All right, make sure you click the latest Python 2 version. So in this case, the one I have is 2.7.10. And you click download, and that will open up and download the default. I recommend keeping the default install area the same, because that will help you when we put in the code in the command prompt later. Default path, cdisk right in here, Python 27. All right. So, and then in here it gives a whole bunch of stuff. Right. There you go. We'll minimize that. So that is the second program you need. All right, and thirdly, you need to be somewhat familiar with some command prompt language shortcuts. All right, so I'm going to click on here, and keep in mind this is for Windows, and I'm using Windows 7 right now. So if you're using 8 or Vista or XP, don't know if this is going to work for XP or not, or Windows 10. Windows Vista and up should totally work. All right, so you're going to go into your thing, whatever, however you get here, and you're going to just run the command prompt cmd, and you're going to pick cmd.exe or just cmd if you don't have the extensions enabled. And you're going to open up this. So what you're going to get is a blank window that looks like this. This is our command prompt. So one of the shortcuts for the command prompt you're going to need to know is how to change directories. So right now I'm under C users Chris, which is me. So that would basically just land me here. So I go C users, and that would land me in this folder right here. All right. It doesn't really help us because that's not where we installed Unrpa. If you want to move the Unrpa folder from your downloads or wherever it's saved into this folder to make it easy, that's great. Sometimes when you open this up, it'll be under C Windows 32. You know, it'll be in the Windows files, and that's fine. You know, we're gonna change directories anyways. It doesn't matter. So one of the first commands you need to know is how to change directories, and that is abbreviated by just cd, so change directory. And then you hit space, and then you want to go to the directory. You want to point the command prompt to the directory that you want to change to. So in this case, since I'm already in my documents folder, all I have to do is type downloads, and then you're going to use the / key that is above the enter. That one, you want to use that one and not this one. This one may give you an error, and it may autocorrect yourself. So you're better off just using the / above the enter key. There you go, to try to avoid any problems. So next, since the folder, I'm telling it to go to my downloads folder now. So now I want it to go to Unrpa, which is the name of the folder. So there you go. We have it in there. I press enter, and then bam, now we are in our Unrpa folder. Now, if I go and just change direction, oh shit, whoops. If I can, so say we're just on C, or we're on our D drive because we have a secondary internal hard drive. It may get very angry at you if you try to go straight to it without specifying the hard drive or things like that. So what you can do is C, doesn't need to be capital, and then colon, again, the slash above the enter key, and then you can go, you can point it directly to. So if it's in your downloads folder, you have to go users, and then slash, and then your name, which is Chris at this point. So your name there. And then you go downloads, and then you go RPA. There you go. So now you've typed out the full path, which sometimes is necessary, sometimes it's not, because it's very picky and it gets angry at you very easily if you do not know what you're doing and this is all you know how to do. So, and then you hit enter, and then bam, we're back to our beginning original location that we need to be in. So we need to be in this folder because the file is the Unrpa file, which cannot be run through any program, is in here, and we want to tell it to run that file using Python. So I'm going to leave this open. I suggest you do the same so you don't have to go back to your directory, and we'll just minimize this. So if you are going to only ever need to do this once, and then you're going to forget about it and you're never going to need it again, go ahead and do the following steps right here in this command prompt window. If you're only going to do it once and you're never going to use it again, that's completely fine to just use it in this command prompt window, because you cannot copy and paste into these windows directly. If you hold Control V, it gives you this caret and then uppercase V. You have to select it, right click, and then go paste, and then it will auto try to run whatever you pasted into there. And a lot of times it gives you errors because it doesn't paste everything. So you can do that if you want, or like me, who does a lot, I do this over and over. Let's minimize this, and now we're on our desktop. You see right here, I already have one. Again, the extension, if you don't have it, don't panic. I already have one right here, already set up, that I've used before. And I'm gonna go through the steps of creating a executable file to open the command prompt and enter our commands without us having to retype it every single time. You just have to edit one tiny little thing. Alright, so we're gonna right click, go new, text document. And then you're gonna name your text document. So Unrpa, there you go. There you go. And then you just open it up and you'll get a blank text document. So the first thing we need to do is we need to tell this that it needs to be an executable. So we're going to go File, Save As, and then Save As type. You can leave that the same. And then here we go, File Name. You're going to delete txt and you're going to put in bat, so B-A-T, and you're going to save, and you're going to close. And it's going to create, in Windows 7, it creates a new file. I was confused for a second. It creates a new file and doesn't overwrite. So now it should be this one with the gears. You can delete the other one if you want, or if it overwrites on your version. There you go. So now, if you closed it like I did, you have this, and if you try to open it, it'll give you an error that is not a valid application. That is because when you double click on it, it tries to run it, but there's nothing in it. So you want to right click and edit, and it's automatically going to open up Notepad. So just like we did in the actual command prompt window, we need to tell the command prompt that what directory we want it to be in. So we're going to start off, you're going to do, open it up here. You're going to, there you go. I wasn't sure if there was a special command to open up the command prompt or not, but no. It automatically does command prompt in this version. It should in every version, but if it is not, that's something you can easily look up on how do you start command prompt from a .bat file. And it'll be like easy to follow. So we want to tell it to change directory. So we're going to go cd space, and then we're going to go c users rname, whatever your name is that whatever profile you're currently logged into Windows as, and then we're going to go downloads or wherever you've saved the file, and we're going to go Unrpa. So again, make sure you're using the / above the enter key. That's important. And we're going to hit enter. So next we need to tell it what exactly we want it to run. So we want it to run Unrpa, but if we type that in, it's going to give us a bunch of errors because there are steps we need to follow. So back on the Unrpa website, quote unquote, it gives you a usage section where it tells you basically how to use it, but it leaves out a lot of things like, do you have a space in your path? Like I have spaces in my path because I have a folder right here that is called VN extracted stuff, and if I try to put that in to the command prompt, it will be angry at me because it does not know how to properly handle spaces if you do not use the correct format. So you can look this over, and it basically gives you all the commands. What we are going to use today is P for path. So there's two options. You can put P and then the actual path, or you can put path equals path. And we are going to use M, or make directory, so that if the folder doesn't exist at our destination, we want the program to make the folder and not just sprinkle the files all over our desktop or wherever, because then that is a pain and you have to go collect them every time. These other ones, verbose explains what's being done, which is by default, and other things are more like background debugging type of things that we're going to follow. Alright, so on here it says you want Python to use the program and stuff like that. So if you want to read this over, if you're well inclined to, there's a description below. Alright, so moving on to the actual command. So I'm going to paste it in here because I've already have it written up. And you'll find that in the description too, and you can copy and paste it in here. So I'm going to be explaining what everything is though. So like I said before, we want it to make the directory, which is M, and we want it to specify a path. So we need to make sure that we want it to run with the correct program. So like I said earlier, if you keep the default Python install location, it's just python 27 python.exe. So you want that to run the Unrpa file we have in our download/Unrpa file. The next important part is that we need to put make directory before the path, because if we put path and then make directory, it's going to try to make the path -m, which is not a path, and it'll give you an error. So you want to make sure that path is the last variable you use out of that list. Alright, so the important part about having folders with spaces in it. You absolutely need to use quotations. Alright, so you can use these quotations, the standard quotations, or you can use the single quotation without pressing shift on either side of the path. That will work as well. If your destination does not have spaces in it, fine, no problem, you don't need them. In that case, you would just come over to the end and you just hit the / above the enter key and carry on your merry way. But since I do, it's on VN extracted stuff, and there are two places I'm trying to specify with spaces, VN extracted stuff, and in this case we're doing without within. I need the quotations to specify that I'm not just putting a space for an extra variable, I'm putting a space because that's the actual path. Right? So then the first path that you're going to enter is where you want the output to go. In my case, VN extracted stuff, The second path, after you press space, You're going to use the quotations again, because most Steam games, if they're 2 words, have a space in them. You're going to locate your Steam, alright? Most people's common in Steam install is c/steam, c/programs/steam. Mine, however, since I have a secondary internal device, is basically just my secondary hard drive and then Steam. From there, you go Steam apps, common, click one too many times there, and then you scroll down to whatever one you want, in this case, without within. So we know this is a Ren'Py file because it has the folder that says Ren'Py in it. And then you're going to go into game, alright? And you'll see there's a file here called archive RPA. So we're going to put in another / game archive RPA. There you go. So that is where we're telling it to take the file from to uncompress. And then afterwards, if you want it to just run and then close itself, delete the pause and it'll just run and close itself. But if you want to see after it finishes the steps it took, you put pause, and then when you run it, it'll have a press any key to continue. And if you do that, it will close, but it'll let you view the window before you close it. Alright, so now that we have this here, this is the way if you're going to do it more than once, because then you don't have to retype every single thing every time. You can just go in here and go, oh, do I want to change the output? No, I'm good. Gotta change the input though, where the actual file is. So you just go in and you delete pretty much just the name of the game, because game and archive are going to be in the same place. And then ta-da, new thing is already set up, good to go, pow. Alright, so we save this, boop. Alright, and we can close this. Alright, so now we have our unrpa.bat. It's going to uncompress, so I go here, so there you see. It runs all of our script that we input into the text file, and then it says Unrpa, extracting files. That is good. Sometimes there will be errors because there are things that are packed into the Unrpa file that are not like assets like music and pictures and stuff that you might not even be able to use in general, so you might get an error from that. Don't worry. And it'll say pause because we want it to pause, and now we can see everything here, and it says press any key to continue, and if I do that, it closes itself. Alright, so next on our list is we know it worked. Maybe we got errors, maybe we didn't. Alright, so we go in here, we come in and we find our file that we just created. It created the file right then. I haven't done this yet, I picked one that I hadn't done. And we go click without within. Now you're gonna see still Ren'Py files in here. That's because the Ren'Py files are opened with Ren'Py, which is a program for making the visual novel, which were packed in the RPA. So those would still need to be opened by opening Ren'Py and opening those, because most of the time, like it says here, they would be options or, you know, the actual text on the screen that you read. But in here, in the assets, we have everything else. The font, the images, the background, the text goes over, sound, anything else that we could possibly want is now in here. So the images, icon, game menu, we'll open one up. See, there we go. And then we have all the assets here for being selected. We have the menu, whole bunch of stuff here. Ta! And these are all in transparent, so you can go in and slap them onto whatever your favorite program of choice is. Personally, for basic stuff, I use paint.net, so because I don't need anything. Or if it's something that's going to be more complex, I use Photoshop or Photoshop and After Effects combined. Alright, so that was a somewhat lengthy but in-depth look at how to use the Unrpa for visual novels if you want the music from the actual game instead of buying it, which sometimes doesn't work because it's not included, or that was just an example I gave. Like, I'm not trying to like promote anything illegal here, that's just the example that came to my mind, though sometimes that's not going to be the actual thing that you can do with this. So explained everything. Make sure you have the quotation marks, or you will get an error and it'll tell you incorrect syntax. I will delete these right here. There you go. I deleted the quotations. I have my slash in there. I'm going to save this. So now we're going to open it, and it's going to be very angry with me because we have usage Unrpa options path name options, and it will tell you the options, and it'll say incorrect number of arguments because it thinks that the spaces in the folder name are the options from the list you're trying to use, but they don't exist, so you can't use them, and you'll be very frustrated and will not know how to fix this problem. So please use quotations, because that is something that I had to figure out myself, because no website doesn't tell you need to use quotations for spaces. It's just something you need to know about how finicky the command prompt is. Alright, so if you have any questions, you can leave them in the comments and I will answer them. Remember that they need to be visual novels made with Ren'Py. You'll know because it'll have a folder named Ren'Py in there, and you can get the characters and the backgrounds and the game music and the sounds and everything else besides the actual dialogue. Alright, so thank you so much for watching. This has been me, myself at home, signing out. Peace out, guys.
I'm coming home, Savannah. We'll never be alone, Savannah.